Hi, welcome to this introduction of the Easy Newbie PCB. This is a PCB which will help you build wireless nodes quickly and safely. Myself, I'm a big MySensors fan, and this project came alive when I was building my own home automation system using MySensors. When I started this, I started like everyone else, pretty much with DuPont cables. As in normal cases you have a MCU, some sort of Arduino or other MCU sensor, in this case a temperature, humidity and pressure sensor, and your radio for wireless communication. But as you can see, it's quite big and hard to fit inside some sort of case, and in most cases it's very easy for a cable to deattach. So I went further with prototyping boards, but I quickly realized that it's very time consuming. It could take almost 2 hours to create a node like this, and then I had to add almost another hour to debug, and as you can see it's quite easy to accomplish a short or a bad wiring with this. So from this I got the idea to create my own printed circuit board. And the Easy PCB comes in 2 different variants. They are pretty much the same. The only thing that differs between them are which radio you can use. You can either use the RFM69 module or the most common currently for MySensors, you can use the NRF24L01 Plus radio. But except for the radios, they are pretty much the same. Well, the Easy PCB was designed just as the name suggests. It should be as easy as possible to use, and my thought was that even if you are a newbie on MySensors or Arduino, it should be an easy circuit board to use to make your projects much smaller and more stable. The first main thing about the board is that you only have through-hole components, except for the RFM module, which today only are SMD mounted, but except for that you only have through-hole components which have good space in between them, so all of them should be quite easy to solder, even if you are unfamiliar with soldering. All the functions mentioned here are very well documented on the MySensors website. So pretty much if you want to do a motion detector, for example, it's very well documented how you use. For all the inputs and outputs you have the MySensors connector here. As you can see, I have a couple of pin headers, and I have DuPont cables on this one. The standard MySensors connector with several power rails and ground rails, and all the inputs and outputs needed for making a connection to your sensors, all the digital and analog pins. The Easy PCB can be powered in different ways and are dynamic in which input power you wish to choose, and that makes this board perfect for a lot of different projects. You have different jump positors, butt and reg, and depending on which one you use you will set up this board in different ways. Also depending, you have VCC, ground and raw input. So in general you can power this project either from a battery using a DC-DC step-up booster, and with addition you have a voltage divider to be able to measure the battery as well on the analog pin. You can use 3.3 or 5 volt regulated power. 5 volt can be, for example, obtained from a standard phone adapter. And inputting up to 12 volts will be possible on the raw pin and converted on the onboard Pro Mini voltage regulator. So for example, this is a very old version of the easy PCB, but it still works the same. You have a DC-DC step-up booster, which will take any of the voltage from the battery and output 3.3 volts to your Pro Mini. The radio is fed directly from the battery to avoid noise from the booster, and that's fine because the radio can handle down to 1.9 volts. As we looked on before, you have a 5 volt version. Input 5 volt from a phone adapter, and here I have reg jumped, which will give the Pro Mini 5 volts, and the voltage regulator and supporting capacitors will provide 3.3 volts to the radio. Here we have two examples. This is a RFM69 module with a do-it-yourself antenna. You also have a SMA connector if you need. Pro Mini, and here you have two inputs for sensors and power on A5 or A4. I think this is the most common setup. This is the NRF module. This one is set up to use with regulated power. As you can see, you have the jumper for reg set there, and so you have 5 volts in on a regulated power from phone adapter, for example, and ground, and the voltage regulator there with supporting capacitors providing 3.3 volts to the radio. You have the MySensors connector, and here I have 3 wires going from VCC, ground, and D3. So this could be, for example, connected to this motion detector if I wanted. Thank you for watching, and check out openhardware.io for all the instructions, and if you ask any questions, just let me know on the forum. Thanks for watching.